Hi, good evening. Ground Zero reporting from Paris. To continue now about Paris Tourist Guide. Over to her. She is going to help me.
Bonjour ou bien bonsoir parce que c'est le soir. C'est vraiment un privilège de vous parler de guide touristique de Paris parce que Paris c'est la ville numéro 1 mondialement pour le tourisme, bien avant Londres qui est numéro 2. I just said good evening and it's a privilege for me to tell you about the tourist guide of Paris as it is the first most visited touristic city in the world, even before London, which is at number 2.
Okay, so please tell us that from any corner of the world we are coming to Paris, but we will give example of India. So suppose we are coming from India, is it right that we should be taking direct flight, and then what all airports are there? So just tell us about that, how to begin with.
For sure. So when you come to Paris directly from India, you will arrive at airport Charles de Gaulle. And from airport Charles de Gaulle to come to Paris, you could just take the RER-B and you could reach Châtelet, which is the first neighborhood of Paris and quite well located by the RER. And once you're in Châtelet, you could have lots of different connections of RER, which is the regional express trains that can take you to any part of Paris or the outskirts. And this will help you to navigate easily. And for your information, there is another airport in Paris, which is called Airport d'Orly. But this is usually for shorter distance flights, like in Europe or neighboring countries.
Okay, and where are Eiffel Tower and other tourist places around if we take reference of this map?
So to get to Eiffel Tower, if we start from the middle of Paris, that is called Châtelet-Les Halles, which is situated on different lines, as you could see. To get to the Eiffel Tower, all you need to do is to take the RER-C, which you could take from the very next stop after Châtelet, which is called Saint-Michel-Notre-Dame. And it is at this stop, Saint-Michel-Notre-Dame, that the famous Cathedral of Notre Dame is located.
Okay, which there was a fire accident there.
Yes, so this cathedral was burnt and now it is in reconstruction.
Okay.
And from Saint-Michel-Notre-Dame, you take the RER-C and this will take you directly to Champ Mars Eiffel Tower, or Tour Eiffel in French. And you will directly reach Eiffel Tower.
Okay, and there is a very broad road. And near that jetty where Befikre and other shootings, many shootings keep taking place any evening in Paris. So that also happened near Eiffel Tower.
Yes, so that happened just at the stop before called Pont d'Alma. And here a lot of shootings take place because it's a very broad road and you even have a view on the Seine River.
Okay, and where is that castle and museum?
So we have two important museums in Paris. One is called Musée du Louvre, which is located somewhere here. So once you get to the Eiffel Tower, you could walk up till there. And the other museum is Musée d'Orsay, which is quite famous for its painting and architecture, which is on the RER-C as well. And the castle you're talking about is called Château de Versailles, which is towards the west of Paris. Here, you could take directly the RER-C and reach Versailles Château. You need to take the tickets either online or when you arrive to the castle. And this is the castle where Louis XVI lived.
Okay, and Disney?
And yes, so Disneyland, to go to Disneyland, all you need to do is take the RER-A, direct up to the stop called Marne-la-Vallée-Chassis, Parc Disneyland.
Okay, towards north?
Towards the east of Paris.
East of Paris, okay.
Yes.
Okay, okay, east of Paris,
Yeah.
For Disney. Okay, so...
And when you go to Disneyland, it is also important to buy your tickets in advance and also book or confirm the day you want to visit, because if you reach there, even though you have valid tickets and a sufficient amount of people have already entered, you won't be allowed to enter the park.
So you mean to say that online bookings are required to be done for everything?
Yes, so you need to book it online and then you need to schedule the day of the visit to Disneyland as well online.
Even for restaurants in Disneyland?
Yes, even for restaurants in Disneyland, you need to pre-book. Otherwise, when you arrive, you will only be able to get some little street food by kiosks and little ice creams, but not proper food.
Okay. And what do you suggest like people try and come and like combined in a group or come individually, because this is a very good tourist visited place, and like the way you are explaining, and people get confused because people talk only generally French. So what do you say is that how to do that online, then people should be knowing about that online working and downloading applications. Kindly just tell about that.
Sure. So for Disneyland, Chateau de Versailles, the Versailles Castle, etc., you just need to go onto their site and buy the ticket. But to navigate yourself inside Paris, I suggest you to download Google Maps. I think most of the phones do have it. And also IDF Mobility app, which is the application from the local transport in Paris. And all you need to do then is enter your starting and ending point, and it'll guide you through the entire process of which trains or metros or RERs you need to take to get from point A to point B.
Okay. And we can buy some ticket also for 7 days or 1 month, or what is the procedure for that? Because otherwise it becomes very expensive. And like, what do you advise that people should be taking hotels around Eiffel Tower, or because those will be slightly expensive?
Yes, so hotels near Eiffel Tower can be very expensive. What I suggest is that you take hotels not in Paris but very close to Paris,
Okay.
which is on stops of metros or RER. For example, you could take a hotel in for example, in Antony, which is on the RERB. It is not exactly in Paris but very close. So then all you need to do is take one train to Paris, and this will also enable you to visit the outskirts of Paris.
Okay.
And
So accordingly, then one can do that. One can save money also, and like for time, one can make use of public transport.
exactly. So what I suggest is that you look at the different destinations that you want to visit and choose any one of the stations on the RER or metro, and then find a hotel near that.
So what all modes of transport, like in public transport, like RER you are mentioning, is a regional, what is that called? Regional?
So in French it's called Réseau Express Régional,
Okay.
which means Express Regional Network,
Okay.
or Rapid Regional Network.
Okay.
And we also have metros and trains.
And buses.
Yes, and buses.
So one ticket can be used for all this type of transport.
So normally if you just take the simple ticket,
Okay.
that is only valid in metro, bus and trams. But the tickets of RER are more expensive because it connects you from one region to another, which means not just Paris but also its neighborhoods.
Okay.
And so it is advised either to take a 1 week ticket or a 1 week pass if you're here, or even a month pass, because buying tickets every day will become much more expensive.
And it is not advisable to take ticket directly in the bus, or like in India we do. That is not advisable because they need change, and even tickets are expensive.
Absolutely, you're right. So tickets in the bus are more expensive. So if a normal ticket of the bus costs €1.80, in the bus it could go up to €2.50. So it's advisable to take the passes beforehand.
Yeah, as it is, only driver is there, he becomes little, it becomes irritating for him to talk about ticket, and they get irritated. So it is better to take passes. And otherwise from airport, do you advise that taking taxi like Uber or something, at least for initial stage, because if you have luggage?
So what I advise, it's a very good question. So taxis, I do not advise a lot, because at the airport there's a very long line always for taxis. So if you have Uber, that is much more convenient. All you need to do is to order your taxi and then find the point where you meet the driver, which pillar number on the airport. And that'll save you time, because queues can go up to 1 hour just to find a taxi.
I see. And about shopping places, what do you say? Is because there are some like street shopping also, and good malls also. Because at places I've seen that like perfumes are quite expensive, but in malls, some specific malls, it is quite cheap. So what do you advise that?
So for shopping, if you want to do street shopping, there are lots of nice streets like Champs-Élysées in Paris, where you have, on a broad street, you have lots of shops on both the sides of the streets. And you even have a beautiful view on the Arc de Triomphe at the end of the street. And if you want to go more to a shopping mall, you could either go to Châtelet-Les Halles, which is one of the central point in Paris, or you could go to La Défense. There's a big mall there as well. And for more luxurious shopping or finding goods of better quality, you could even go to Galeries Lafayette.
Okay.
And Galeries Lafayette has two big buildings, one dedicated for women and another dedicated for men.
I see.
So you could find all what you want.
Okay.
And you even have the Bon Marché
Okay.
for even more luxurious brands.
Very good. And about communication, because what do you advise there? What to do? Like taking local SIMs, there is no problem of that. Any documents required for taking SIMs for any tourist?
So what I advise is, as you said, taking a local SIM, which means you do not need to go to a big operator like Orange, Bouygues Telecom or something. What you need to do is just find a little shop which is called Tabac, TABAC, where they sell coffee, cigarettes, and all what you want, but also little SIM cards that will enable you to have a phone number in France, and then you need to just recharge it online. If you want internet, you put 20 euros of internet, and that'll be more than sufficient for a month.
Yeah.
Like Leica Mobile, for example.
Okay. Incoming calls also, and WhatsApp outgoing calls, incoming calls, and local, like navigating
Yes.
to various places through internet.
Yes.
That would be easier. And that cost is about 5 to 10 euros, or how much approximately?
So
initial.
I think to buy the SIM you spend 5 to 10 euros depending
Yeah.
on the place.
Okay.
And then depending on the plan you choose, how many gigabytes of internet or how many calls, local calls, but it varies from 5 to 20 euros.
Okay, that's good. Thanks for that. And shopping you conveyed, and about say Indian locations where one can get some restaurants or more. I believe that there is a place which is more densely populated by Indians. Just tell us about that.
Yes, so you could find Indian restaurants a bit everywhere in Paris, but the main place, which is called the Indian neighborhood, it is called Gare du Nord or the North Station. So there you can have a variety of Indian restaurants where you can eat North Indian or South Indian food, and you even have little supermarkets that do send Indian snacks.
Very good. And tell us about that evening time. Some theaters are there. Opera is quite common here. Nightclubs. So there is no problem of doing that, and one enjoys. But pre-booking is required.
Yes, absolutely. So pre-booking is required everywhere. You do have a couple of theaters like Theatre Mogador or operas, and even if you don't speak French, you can attend it because most of the theaters do have screens with English subtitles. So you can go and have and even enjoy your evening there. But as you said, you need to pre-book because the seats get filled very quickly.
Okay. And for as far as money is concerned, one should be bringing Forex card because it becomes, and they don't entertain Indian rupees, though sometimes it is claimed that now they will be taking, but I think it is only for commercial purpose, not for retail. And for tourists, they should be bringing euro, and basically euro, and then dollar also through card, but basically euros are required, isn't it?
Absolutely. So basically you should have your cards charged with euros and a little bit of cash at times you might need, but you need to just have euros.
Okay. And some little bit bargaining on the street, like sailors or hawkers type, only there, not in malls or anywhere else.
Yes, so in no malls or shops that are stable shops, you can't do bargaining, but on street markets or in little kiosks, you can do a bit of bargaining.
Okay. So here that river is, the famous river is Seine River. What is that?
Yes, it's called the Seine.
Seine. Just near Eiffel Tower, and then cruise also are also there.
Yes.
Like we had also gone there. So that is a beautiful, and it goes all the way to that ocean and English Channel. I think it ends there. Eh? Okay. And one more point, that to go to London, I think there is a direct train from Paris which goes underwater and undersea.
Yes.
What is that train called?
That's called the Eurostar.
Okay.
And you can get the Eurostar from two locations, I think, in Paris. One is Gare du Nord.
Okay.
So it's the same place where you find Indian food. And the other point where you could get the Eurostar is Massy.
Okay.
But you have much more Eurostars from Gare du Nord. And it's a 2-hour direct train to London.
Okay, 2 hours approximately.
2 hours.
Very good. And underground, anything under sea also it goes, and it is very beautiful
Yes.
to go there. And one more point, that because next year Olympics are coming, as I mentioned in my Schengen visa video also, that I will advise everybody to see that Schengen visa video also to come to Paris, because Schengen visa, and through the Schengen visa one can go to other places also. So that when next year is Olympics, so what do you advise, that now it's in 6 months in advance we can do it? It will become very expensive. July and August Olympics are going to be there, and Paris is also getting beautified for that. So one should be coming either say by May, and then otherwise in the month of October or September.
Yes. So first of all, I want to thank you for your video on the Schengen visa. It was really helpful, and it helped a couple of my friends and their parents who live in India, and it was really helpful. So thank you so much. And for the Schengen visa and Schengen travel, as you said, we have the Olympics in Paris next year. So most of the events will be taking place in Paris, but also in other locations in France. So it is advisable either to come to France before June, which means before end of May, or after the end of August, so in September, because things will become very expensive. Hotels will triple their prices, and even Airbnb and everything, and even the restaurants will be quite full. So if you want to enjoy the scenic beauty and have a good time, it's better to avoid this period.
That's good. And from Paris, I think in the south of France, there are very beautiful places. South of France and towards like German and other side, Luxembourg. Just please tell us about that. Turkey also one can go fly. So just in brief about that down below, some champagne is also made in one of the places nearby. Just tell us about that.
Very good question. So if you like champagne, you could go to Reims, where champagne is made in France. It is 40 minutes by train from Paris directly, and it's a nice little cozy city. And if you want to go and have a wine tasting, you could find on the internet lots of locations where wines are made, like in Beaujolais, and there you could have your wine tasting experiences, because Beaujolais and Côte de Rhône in Rhône-Alpes region in France, so the wines from there are quite famous. And so it's very easy from one country to go to another, because France shares its boundaries with 6 other countries in Europe, like Switzerland, Germany, Spain, Italy, Luxembourg, and even Andorra, which is a little country towards the south of France. And so what you need to do is either take a train, because trains are very convenient, and if you book it in advance, much cheaper than air transport. And so, for example, if you want to go to the south of France, there are beautiful destinations like Nice, Marseille, Toulouse, and even Avignon, where they have once a year in the month of October some theater festivals.
Very good.
And if you want to go to Switzerland, it is much convenient to go via train rather than plane, because you tend to waste a lot of time before and after. And the train takes you directly to the center of the city.
Via Geneva.
Absolutely. So what you need to do is you need to take a train up to Geneva, and then you're in Switzerland.
And there is one Cannes, or where a film festival also takes place in south of France.
Yes, so it's 5 hours from Paris. There's a direct train, and it does stop at Cannes, which is quite close to Nice.
Okay. And one more point about that Mont Blanc, that very famous for skiing and very beautiful place. Just tell us about that in south of Paris, south of France. Yeah, somewhere.
So Mont Blanc is, yes, as you said, very famous. It is the tallest peak of mountains in Europe. It is in 3 countries. It is in one part is in France, one part is in Switzerland, and one part is in Italy. So if you want to approach from the French side, all you need to do is to go up to Chamonix, and there you could either do trail, which means running in the mountains. You could go and ski there. There are a lot of ski stations there, or you could even do sledging, which means you sit on a wood piece and you slide down the mountains. And you could even have lots of traditional food like raclette, which means lots of cheese, potatoes, and salamis, and tartiflette.
That's very good. And that finally, a lot of like stealing cases, theft cases happening in Paris, because we have been hearing even in Noida, Delhi, even bankers, they had been telling me that a lot of difficulties, and we also saw that people are nowadays, do you know that they look very innocent, but their eyes and they are moving in groups, and they just judge that if some tourists are there. So what do you advise about etiquettes and some commonly used words, if you can say, so that people can avoid their identity, and people should not be becoming very anxious and trying to be very alert, isn't it? They should be merging with the crowd. Just a few sentences for that.
Absolutely. So as you said very correctly in the beginning of the video, if you arrive at Charles de Gaulle, what I advise is you directly take a Uber with all your suitcases and you leave it at the hotel, because moving around the public transport, not knowing the language and being lost with lots of luggage can be problematic. That people might try to steal the entire luggage, which is not good. So whenever you take the public transport, travel light. Don't take all your phones. If you're traveling in a family, one phone is more than enough. And don't wear a lot of jewelry, because Indians love jewelry and jewelry attracts attention. So try to travel light with light jewelry. And if you really want to put lots of jewelry, then in that case I advise you to take a taxi and buy a small bag, and always keep it in front of yourself, close to your chest or inside your sweater, so that nobody can access that bag.
And about that, you were advising me that not to say excuse me or English words, so people come to know that you are a tourist. So just a few words that could be spoken by my friends and all around the world.
Sure.
Yeah.
So as you said, it's preferable not to talk in English there, because they know that you are a foreigner, and so even if they steal, you can't do much. Or even Hindi, avoid talking in Hindi, or just talk with your eyes with your family members. If you want to say excuse me, you could say excusez-moi, or you could say pardon, which will make them realize that you want to either get out of the train or you want some space, and it won't give an impression that you are not a localite.
And even to convey sorry or something like this. Sometimes they intentionally try to take fight, or because they want to get involved, like especially in the evenings, like passing through subways. So they try and create problem for people. So how to avoid that situation?
If you want to avoid that situation, you could just say désolé, which
Okay.
means sorry. And what you need to do is stay alert, because as you very correctly said, they try to attract your attention, because when you will be involved with one person, another person from their gang could come and snatch your bag or your wallet.
Okay. And I think 112 is the European helpline number.
Yes. So 112 from your phone is the European helpline number. You even have local numbers for
Police 11717.
17, and even for the firefighters.
Okay. 15
15.
number.
Which is called the SAMU in French.
Okay. So like in case of very emergency, only one should be dialing, otherwise it becomes a little embarrassing
Absolutely.
when you are there. So I think you have conveyed enough, and very practical points you have given. Thank you so very much. What I will say, merci beaucoup. What do you say? Now just convey.
You said it right. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Okay. Thank you very much.
Have a
Thanks.
good evening, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Okay. Thank you very much. And even for other like cities of Europe, I may take your help in future. Okay.
It will be a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
God bless you.